Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 12 of the Critical Hitz Podcast.
Crazy.
My name is Pokey Scout.
I am Gentle Gaming.
And this
is Critical Hitz.
Guys, welcome. Episode 12. Bit of a, I don't know, man. It's not going to be an off-the-cuff episode. It's a more of a passionate episode. And by that, I mean we are discussing one of the biggest problems in the Pokemon community right now. And no, it's not scalpers. It is scammers. Scammers directly. Genelac, we were talking about some of the instances of scamming that we have seen across social media and experienced in person. And I think I'm going to start it off by asking you, what is a scenario that you've seen recently that we want to make the people aware of?
Yeah.
Honestly, just avoid and really just get off our chest.
Yeah, we were positive last episode. We're going back to the dark chaos side now. I mean, yeah, we're going to try and cover the most common scams you're going to see, right? Like, there's obviously things that you and I have seen because you do vending and, you know, I get DMs about high-end cards and that kind of stuff. We'll stick to the things we see the most.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I'll call it out right now. If somebody is offering dead relatives or a recently found collection and they're like selling it for pennies on the dollar or giving it away because they don't care about Pokemon, I am 99.9% sure that is a freaking scam.
100%. That is not a real thing, guys, and they're not going to post it on a TikTok or Instagram post or whatever. That is all for attention. That is the craziest way to try to scam people, and the fact that that's been happening and been ramping up in the last month and a half is nuts.
And you need to be really careful as well with fake cards in general. There are very easy ways to tell, but you will see. I mean, I was just at I won't call it it was like a farmer's market-esque thing.
Okay.
Right? Like, it wasn't a true farmer's market, but it was an outdoor market. Call it what you have it.
Yeah,
and this guy's selling. Yeah, a flea market. There you go. And this guy's selling Pokemon cards, Pokemon packs. Mm-hmm. And, they're $5, $6, $7, $8 a pack. So market price. But I noticed that they were Shining Fates. Mind you, this was like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And there was Shining Fates for $8 at a flea market outside. And I'm like, these are, and you go up and you look at them and yeah, the printing is all wrong, right? Like, if I know what a Shining Fates pack looks like. The color is off. The plastic itself is not the right material.
Yep.
And I look at this thing and I look at this guy like, these are fake. So I buy one. Because I'm like, I gotta see what he's got. And if you open that thing up and it's a God pack, but it has a base set Charizard in there, yeah, guys. I hate to break it to you, but that's fake.
Yeah, guys, 99% of the product that you see at flea markets is fake. There's no reason for you guys to be buying product at flea markets. And now for my people here in the UK, the boot sales are very similar to what we call flea market. And I'll tell you this, man, there's not a lot of fake product running around the boot sales, which was blowing my mind. It's funny that they call them boot sales here, or car boot sales, but it's so much of like these, hey guys, we're going to do these lower end deals, or everybody that goes shopping at a boot sale. You can see these guys that do like the buying POVs going around. They're like, yeah, all I want are bargains, So it is kind of a, good way to go about getting bargains. But back to the scamming side, you're talking about flea markets. You did mention fake cards, and fake cards are one of the most aggravating things in the hobby, guys. And fake cards have been around for as long as Pokemon has been around. Because
for a long
you did
time.
See, I mean, hell, you saw the CGC scandal that happened last year, where they ended up grading fake cards because you could tell based on the printing that they were printed in the year 2024. But we'll get into that later. That's another topic that we're going to address later in the episode. But as far as fake cards are concerned, I've got a story for you guys. And Genelac, this is a story for you, buddy. So let me know. Can I serenade you?
Serenade me.
We had an incident at one of the shows that we were vending at where a kid, I'd say he's between 9 and 12 years old, walks up to the table with his father and says, hey, I've got a Pokemon card collection. I want to know how much it's worth because he wants to trade for some of our higher end stuff. Cool. I love trades. All about it. Open up the binder. First page. I could tell, holy crap, these cards are fake.
Now let me pause you there. For our listeners, how did you know?
The reason I knew they were fake was, number one, the borders and the printing. I know that sounds weird. The borders were too thin. The printing was too glossy. There was no texture, or if there was texture, it was far too much texture. I don't know the best way to explain it, but when you see enough Pokemon cards in your lifetime, you can subtly tell the differences. But those were the two that stood out the most, right? Where the corners, or not corners, the borders were too thin. The overall card was too glossy. It was not textured enough. And moving forward, right, and you guys, when you're looking at fake Pokemon cards, there are plenty of videos out there that'll show you how to detect fake cards, but there's one thing you can do is you can do a rip test. If you are certain that a card is fake, all you have to do is rip that bad boy in half, okay? Genelac, please demonstrate for the people. See, there you go. He ripped it. Now, Genelac, if you could describe what you are seeing.
So what you're looking for, you see that graphite and that ink right here? That's what you're looking for. Most fake cards are paper, and then they have either a sticker or some kind of printing on the front of the card. They're not embedded into the card. This is very hard to do for an at-home creator. Yep. And so that's what Scout is saying. And then when he's talking about these borders around the card, when they're printing, they typically overdo it. Most fake cards overdo basically everything, right? Yeah. So yeah, that's the rip test though.
Now, so you guys, for future reference, definitely check that out. Great way to test. And I've seen people, have to go through like fake shadowless cards. Like I saw somebody that actually had to rip a
that's
base
very
set
common
shadowless Charizard because all of us were like, dude, I think it's fake. Like there's just something about the yellow border. Like everything about it was like really good. It was a really good reprint, but it was something about the yellow border. They just didn't get it right, a part of the shadowless.
Yeah.
And as soon as we ripped it, man, I felt bad for this guy because he spent like 350 pounds on this card, which already was kind of a red flag because it was a base set shadowless Charizard, right?
It's too cheap.
So,
that's too cheap. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And another side note, if it's too good to be true, it probably is.
It just, especially for high profile cards.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. They're not like, I just rip a Clemens Wit. They're not faking those, right? They are faking whatever you're looking for, right? The Greninja, the Magikarp, the Charizard. Those are the cards that are being faked because that's the ones that you can sell.
Exactly.
And so I would say references.
Oh, yeah.
Go... The community, that's why this is called a community. No matter what, you have to have a reputation if you want to sell in this community. Those guys that have zero references, like if it's an eBay store with 0 sales and 0 reviews, or even like 5 reviews, or it just doesn't matter. You can't do it. You just can't do it.
Exactly. Well,
anyway,
guys,
so going back to your story.
Yep.
You open this binder, a dad and a kid.
Yep.
And you're like, those are totally fake.
Yeah.
They don't know, right?
No, so they didn't know at the time, right? They had just gotten into Pokemon, and they're still trying to get used to just the cards in general, right? Because looking at Pokemon cards is a lot, dude. Oh, yeah, man, it was awful. But, I looked through all the pages, and I'm like, okay, and I'm identifying real cards, because there are some real cards in the binder, but they're commons and uncommons, right? Maybe a couple of holos. Yeah, and I had to break it to them. Hey, guys, 95% of these cards are fake. And they were like devastated. I thought the kid was going to start crying, man. And really he got close to doing so. And the dad was like, how do you know? Wait a second, these are fake. And he was more angry with himself in the moment, I think.
I'm sure.
But, he was definitely like trying to talk to me and saying, how do you know they're fake? You're not trying to like scam us on a deal, right? But we get to talking. They finally tell me where the cards came from. And I was like, man, you need to go back there and you need to go solve this.
Was it another vendor? Where did they get the cards?
Some of the cards came from just other people at the event and cards that came from his friends at school. So that was another thing. Yep. And so this is where the story takes a little twist, is I tell them, and then
recess, dude. You got to be careful at recess.
Bro, that's crazy. But where the story takes a bad turn is I find out later that the dad takes his son and he starts encouraging him to go to the other kids and start trading these fake cards. And it was devastating to hear. The fact that I had told them they were fake cards and I said, you guys just need to toss them. You need to toss them and start over. And, I gave the kid, a little like 3-pound card to start it over, right? I would have given him more, but I'm a new vendor. Can't really afford to do so right now, but I gave him a free card.
Yeah, you can't restart him.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, you guys just need to restart yourself. This is a learned lesson. You didn't know, and this happens to everybody. I've been scammed before. I know you've been scammed before. Almost every vendor, almost everybody in the Pokemon hobby has been scammed before in some way. Yeah, I found this out, and dude, I want to know your thoughts. Like, what would you do in that moment if you were the dad or if you were someone that found out that you are encouraging your child to trade fake cards just because you got scammed?
Yeah, what an arc. You had me in the first half. I was feeling bad for the dad at the start, and then he became the villain. I mean, you can't do that, right? Like, a lot of this is teaching them lessons, right? Like, you're teaching them how to be a part of a community. You're teaching them some financial lessons, maybe some negotiation skills.
Yep.
Et cetera, right? So I think that this is a valuable lesson for the child, right? You got to vet your sources and that kind of stuff. But then you go and you compound it by teaching them a bad lesson of like, this is a problem that we don't want to deal with, so we're going to try and offload that and make it other people's problem. That is not a good lesson. I know the dad is probably like, maybe he spent too much money. Hey, if you want to keep collecting, you got to pull this off. Desperate times call for desperate measures, but I can't make excuses for him, man. I mean, there's always ways to get back into the hobby. You got to trash those cards. You don't want them in the community still.
Yep.
All you're doing is compounding the issue, making it harder and harder to track down the fake cards. So yeah, you go back to the source. To your point, I thought that was a great piece of advice, is go back, try and get it solved with the people who gave them. That's fine. If the kid's going back to the kids who traded them to him to get his cards back, that's different. But if he's just out there like hawking them, that's a really bad, not cool by the dad. Not cool.
Yeah, that was a big point of contention for me following this. Was I hope they don't come back to my table, because not only do I have to now tell the kid,
you don't want to work with them now.
Yeah, not only do I have to now work with this kid and resist telling him your dad's awful, your dad's a terrible person, and making you a terrible person. But you know, I just didn't want to look at the father like, dude, I took time out of my day to try to help you guys out, and you are crapping on the hobby that I love by trying to recirculate these cards. I understand there was some wrongdoing towards you guys.
Sure, but two wrongs never make a right.
Exactly. And I mean, these scams, they only get worse. I mean, it's not just fake cards that people have to worry about. You know, like you said, it's the posts on TikTok and so forth of like people that say, hey, I got binders for free or whatever. I need your, shipping. I think. And
it escalates, right? Like you and I have seen... guys, this does not happen just at the lower levels. Like, I've seen guys post they got scammed out of a $5,000 slab. And it goes both ways. It's not just, I'm buying a fake slab. It's also somebody offers to buy mine or something, right?
Yeah.
And so then they get the card and then they, like, decline the payment or something, right? They rescind the payment. So that's why a lot of vendors prefer cash, bluntly, because, you know, it's pretty easy to tell if it's fake cash or not, and you go through it that way. That's why a lot of vendors will also ask for, you know, if you're in person, for goods and services or Venmo or something like that, because you cannot recall those. So yeah, I don't know. That's a bummer.
Yeah, I would say another thing to avoid getting scammed, and I know this is not easy for a lot of people, but cash. Deal with everything in cash. When you go to card shows, bring cash. And be wary of other avenues of buying cards. And guys, the only reason I say this is because I got a ton of questions about this over the last 3 days. And it is Whatnot. Now, take all of this with a grain of salt. I used to be a Whatnot streamer. I started streaming on Whatnot back in 2020.
And we have a lot of our good friends that are huge Whatnot streamers.
Exactly. And I've streamed on it on and off for 5 years now. Okay.
Yeah.
I love the idea of Whatnot, Drip, eBay, whatever it is. I do love those ideas because the future is online shopping. It really is. Okay. But you have to be wary of what is happening, because I am noticing a massive uptick in graded Japanese cards. I'm not saying Japanese are fake. Not saying these cards are fake. What I'm seeing is people don't understand the majority of Japanese illustration rares, art rares, and SIRs are super cheap in Japan. You can buy them from certain distributors or retailers for roughly $1.50 to $2.
Yep.
And you need to be careful, because if they send them, and there are streamers that do this, I'm not going to call them out right now. If you know of some, drop them down below so people are wary. But it is, streamers will buy these cards for $1.50. Then they will grade it with CGC or PSA or whatever and have them come back 10s. Guys, these Japanese art rares and illustration rares are not worth $15 to $50 in a PSA 10, and they're not worth your time buying mystery bags from the mystery graded slab boxes from TikTok and whatnot. And a lot of these slabs don't have recent solds to validate their price that these streamers are putting on them. You guys need to be wary of that. And I'm somebody who buys these Japanese cards all the time because I put them in my binders because people in the UK love it, and I incorporate it into my $5 games. But it's literally just another avenue of scamming you guys by just getting these Japanese cards graded and then putting them in mystery slabs. And it just drives me freaking nuts because they suck. They are not good cards, and they are just stealing your guys' money because they pay $2 for a card, get it graded for $15, and then throw a price tag on it of $60, $25 to $50.
Do your research, and that on another topic. And this isn't really a scam, but the mystery packs, the mystery packs, and the mystery slabs, guys. I have to become clean here. Unless it is one of the largest streamers in the community, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
And the reason I say this is because a lot of the times these large streamers, they do it because they can afford it. Right?
God, yeah.
And so those streamers, they can afford a much smaller margin.
Yep.
So yeah, they're gonna have packs in there, like PokeRev, his packs. There will be packs that are oversized value for sure, right? But on the average, you're not supposed. It's a gamble. You are not supposed to pull a larger than value card, right?
Yes.
But he does a very good job of keeping it close because he can afford to, because he's one of the largest out there. If it's a small time, mid time, and they're trying to do a mystery pack, most of the time they're trying to put stuff in there that they can't move. That's all they're doing.
Absolutely, guys. You just have to be wary. And again, I used to stream on Whatnot. At some point, I will find myself streaming on Whatnot again because it's fun and it's something that I like to do. However, I ask you guys to do your research and not get caught up in the BS, right? And I'll say some of the biggest streamers that I love and I think you guys should check out if you haven't already. Number one, Loose Packs. You got to check them out. You've got to check out Stacks Collects. You got to check out Mobros. You got to check out Plants with Dirt. You got to check. I mean, there's a lot of big streamers out there. Yes, exactly. Guys, I mean, these are verified sellers and streamers that do wonderful things for the community and, I mean, have verified product.
And here's what I'll say. Whatnot's been around long enough that there are some tried and true. I'm not telling you to not go out and try a smaller streamer. I'm trying to tell you to be wary. Right?
Yep.
Because they don't have a reputation established yet. I know plenty of small to mid-time streamers that they're just starting out on Whatnot, and I would buy from them. But I would buy from them because I know them. I've met them in the community, at a Collecticon, in person. Shout out like Crash Poke. I would buy from Crash Poke, and he's not nearly as big as some of these other guys. So, it's... do it with the word of caution is all we're saying. We're not saying you can't buy, but if you're going to see it, and there have been some very large streamers, I can't remember, was it the NFL guy or the MLB guy?
Breaks.
Yeah.
He ruined it for everybody.
So there are some big streamers that have been caught. The ones we're naming, we know them. They're awesome. They're great people. I wanted to get that point out there because I don't want to dissuade people.
No, yeah. To your point, yes, I do agree about, be wary of the small creators, but even some of the established ones, guys, some of the things that I'm talking about are coming from established streamers. None of the ones that I mentioned, but there are some established streamers that I don't know if they're doing it for views or if they're doing it just to, fatten their margins, but they're doing slab boxes, and it's just these CGC 10 Japanese illustration rares and art rares that are not worth $45 or $50, guys.
Yeah.
They are not. Stop doing it. And now if somebody wants to comment down below a screenshot from eBay or something that, recent solds are going for that, okay, I'll eat my words on that. But I mean, I just would never pay that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just knowing how easily attainable these cards are.
One of my questions that I've gotten a lot recently is, how do you tell if the slab is legit or not? Because you could fake slabs too, guys. I want to be very clear. Just because a card is graded does not mean... I mean, most of the time it's real. It's a lot harder to fake a slab than it is to fake a card, to be clear. But if you're doing high-end stuff, there's a lot more money to be made by faking a slab, right? If you could go fake a frickin' Moonbryon in a PSA 10... That's $3,000, right? Like that's worth the risk for most scammers. There's a couple ways you could do that. Obviously, the cert numbers can be reprinted. Yep. So even if you were to go in, like people could go look up, just throw in a random cert number. Like I have the Zacian right here, right? Yep. You could easily go print this little thing with the right cert number and figure out how to do a barcode, right? You know, when it comes to looking at a slab, you got to look at the slab. You got to ask for pictures if you're buying online. One of the things I will give eBay, there's a little bit of a viral clip of Scout and I talking about this, about, some of the PSA Vault stuff, but I will give eBay credit where credit is due. They do verify purchases over a certain amount too. Yep. So, so that's a great thing. I think it's $500-$600. If you buy something that's over $500 or $600, they'll verify for you.
Oh yeah. And I do agree with that statement there. Yes, credit where credit's due. eBay, thank you for doing a good job in protecting your buyers and sellers. But as far as like checking the slabs, you guys will see after a long time, the PSA logo, or best way to check, for fake PSA slabs. There's a couple of things on the back that you can tell, right? And it's not the hollow of it. What am I trying to say?
No, there's a hollow, there's a texture. So like this sticker specifically is really hard to replicate. Yep. You probably can't see it on my camera, but there's actually miniature PSAs printed in hollow on the sticker too. So the real important part is to be able to tell. It's hard to copy all of it correctly. Absolutely check the QR code. Absolutely put the cert number in. Absolutely scan the barcode. Then you check the stickers. If everything checks out, you probably have a good slab. Yeah. Now, checking colors, checking the border thickness of the redness, right? Yep. Because these are this is PSA. They're extremely consistent. You should not see variation. So, yeah. I mean,
now, correction,
it's one of those
things. Variation in slabs that are older,
of a different era.
That's fair. Different era.
Yeah, I have an older one.
Yeah, so let's be careful about that. Yes, you will see variations in older slabs, right? In older certs, and you can tell by whatever the cert number starts with, right? And you can tell in the year that it's graded. Don't forget that. There are still PSA slabs floating around that were graded 25 years ago.
And the way that you can tell that is the size of the number of the cert. This is the cert number. This is the number of cards they've graded, by the way, in case anybody's wondering. So, like, there are, like, 5-digit certs out there because it was, like, the 5,000th card that they certified. Yeah. That's gonna be a very old card, to be clear.
I'm glad that we took a minute to talk about this because this has been weighing heavy on my mind for a while now. And I am sorry, right? This is just something that I think everybody in the community needs to be aware of, because at some point you guys are going to start collecting, and at some point you're going to get scammed. I promise you.
Yep.
I got into this hobby and I was like, I'm never going to get scammed. Hell no, dude. I got scammed for a lot.
You get scammed.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of went up the ladder there with value, right? We started with like fake cards. Those are going to be your cheapest scams, and depending on how many you buy. And you keep going up. And when you start to get into the graded game, that's when you can really get freaking scammed. And you can lose a lot of money. The other part that we haven't talked about is sealed. Go to an expert. I'm just going to say, I'm going to say go to an expert because it depending on what you're trying to buy, it can get really nuanced, and there are really good fake sealed out there. Yeah. Really good.
Oh, yeah. And especially for vintage product, guys, number one person
especially
that
vintage.
Want to talk to. There are two people in the hobby that you want to talk to about vintage, about seals, about identifying fake product. Number one, and I will die on this hill, it is loose packs.
Yes.
For
Tyler
product,
specifically.
you need to speak with loose packs. Any questions that you have. The other ones, you've got EA Collectibles that do a very good job. You've got the Pokemon Network. You've got Goldenrod City Collectibles. But I don't think there's anybody more knowledgeable in the game about sealed product than loose packs.
Especially vintage, right? Like, you can go to a lot of... And you ask, how do they know? Because they've seen thousands and thousands of these boxes. Yep. It's very rare for somebody to have had, multiple base set booster boxes pass through their hands. These guys have, right? Yep. Scout and I could identify if an Evolving Skies booster box is legit or not, because we both own Evolving Skies booster boxes and we've seen and handled multiple. So the modern stuff is a little bit easier. The vintage, you should probably go to an expert. And that also reminds me, you could also go to a card show and vendors will check stuff out for you. And PSA, BGS, Tag, they'll all check stuff out for you too.
Yep.
The Logan Paul scam back in the day with the G.I. Joe boxes.
Oh my God.
He went through PSA, right?
Yep.
And that was a smart thing for him to do.
Yeah.
Now, granted, he's a multi-millionaire, billionaire. I don't even know how much he's worth now. So he was working with PSA directly for, certain deals. You're going to have to go to a show, but that's also an avenue for you, right?
Yep.
Is to go and talk to them. So
yeah, we get people coming to us like at my table. I think show from 2 months ago, we had a couple walk up to us and say, "Hey, I've got 6 old boxes that my grandmother bought, and it was a base set booster box. It was a Jungle, Fossil, Rocket, and base set 2." And they were just like, "Are these real?" Showed me pictures, and then we ended up coordinating some meetups. And yeah, I mean, the boxes are legit. But the only thing that I would say about those boxes you need to be wary of are the wrapping on the boxes, right? Because the wrapping is not that hard to replicate for some boxes. But, if they don't get the right wrapping, it's a little bit different because, some of the wrapping is thin, some of it's thick, so on and so forth.
Yeah, like you can feel it. Yeah.
Yep, you can absolutely tell 100%. Or if it feels like it's double sealed. I know I'm explaining this over the microphone. Like I would need to show you guys this in person. And shout out to Loose Packs for teaching me a lot of this.
And again, this is a lot of the vintage stuff. Your modern stuff, it all goes back to scams are typically aligned to popularity. So that's and frankly, scammers come and go from the hobby based upon how much hype there is too.
Oh, God,
so
yeah.
I want to throw that out there too. The more hype the market is and the more hype the community is, the higher fluctuation of scams.
Oh, yeah.
So if it's peak Pokemon, I don't know when you're going to be listening to this, but if it's peak Pokemon right now, good chance they're scammers.
Yeah.
If the market has died down a little bit, which I assume it will at some point in our lives again, the scammers tend to go away for a little while, right? Like they just do, because it's not where the new collectors are. That's who they're really targeted. Now, Scout,
what's up?
We talked a lot about grading companies.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's time because you and I have had a lot of strong opinions about a bunch of different graders. I think it's time that we rank the grading companies for people and why.
Ooh, okay. I am more than happy to do that. Do you want to start or do you want me to?
I think you should this time.
Yeah. So, guys, here's what I'll say about grading companies. Every grading company has something that you'll enjoy a little bit more. And by that, I mean like Beckett. Beckett has the black label. The black label.
It is so good. It's so good.
So the Beckett has the black label. Tag has the dig report. CGC has cheaper services. Ace Grading has a really neat label that goes with the theme of the card. So anyway, what I'm saying is that every grading company is going to be enticing in some fashion. Now, I'm going to rank these super quick in 2 different groups. The first group that I will rank is I will rank based on resale. Because I'm a vendor.
Yeah, like value, resale value. Okay.
Yes.
Fair.
So I'm a vendor. I see all kinds of slabs come through my table.
Yeah.
Number 1 slab that I enjoy as a reseller is PSA.
Yeah. Okay? PSA does
because
on the market.
It is the king of the market. And that is not changing for the next 10 years, guys. I promise you that, maybe 5, okay? But I'm saying this as a vendor, and you're going to love my answer following this, but just understand, that's the case. PSA is king, all right? There's no arguing
the easiest.
that.
If you're looking to sell your card right now, PSA is the easiest way to sell your card. But I have something to follow up on with that after we get through this.
Yeah. So PSA is king. Okay. Number 2, and this is only because I'm in the UK, is Ace.
It's going to be Ace?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I do have some
Ace
problems
is
with
big
Ace.
in Europe, not in the US.
It's not big in the US. There are a lot of people that actually ask me to buy Ace slabs for them here in the UK to ship back to the US. Yeah. Which, because, I mean, it's just new to them. They've never seen it before, you know, so they're very curious about it. But so number 2 for resale, I have to say Ace, because Ace does well here. It's what people really enjoy. Shout out to Randolph.
In the U.S., that is not the case. I mean, I could give the U.S. is BGS. I'll say that. It's Beckett.
Absolutely. But anyway, so PSA would be my number 1 with Ace, following the number 2. Shout out to Randolph for Ace. Number 3, I would have to go with Beckett. Beckett is just like the people over here, for the most part, if they see a BGS 10 or a black label, they got questions.
Fiending.
Yeah, dude, they're just like, oh my God,
well,
this is so crazy. And yeah.
I mean, black label we've talked about it. It is the most sought after grade in all of grading.
Yeah. Oh, I agree 100%. After BGS, I'd have to go CGC, and that's just because CGC has some cheaper grades. And
Really?
also, well, the reason I say that is because CGC resale value has been all over the place, dude. Like the CGC
Really?
10s and then
That
everything
surprises
with the
me.
subgrades. Yeah, and I mean, I've even bought and sold CGC slabs over here in the UK, which is shocking. But the majority
Over
of them are
tag.
sold
That's crazy.
now, and that's because tag isn't super big here in the UK yet. And some
Yeah.
people see the consistency of CGC because CGC has more solds on eBay.
Got it.
That could be different when this podcast comes out. But then in last place is tag, okay? And this is
Yeah.
for resale value. Now, for the personal collection.
And for future. I want to put future in there too.
Okay. All right. Well, for this one, I'll say
I mean, at
personal
least
collection.
I will when I do my ranking.
Yeah, you do yours, but as far as personal collection, number one grading service for me is tag. And the reason I say
1000%.
that is because of the dig report, guys. I want to understand why my card got the grade that it did, and I want to pay a fair price to get it graded. Now, those of you that have seen the recent controversy with tag, I'm just going to premise this by saying every grading company makes mistakes. I am not going to sit here and vehemently defend tag and, say tag can do no wrong, whatever, right? They're still working out their system, guys. They are taking the steps to provide customers with the best service possible and to give us products that, one, they can't be replicated, right? That's why their slabs, crack the way that they do. If somebody's trying to bust it open or put a new card in or so on and so forth, there are certain steps that they are going to take to make sure that we get the best product and best services possible, and stuff's going to fall through the cracks.
Objectively, tag is the best looking slab. Objectively. I have asked people who do not know the hobby. I asked my wife. I was like, hey, which slab do you think looks cooler? And I put a PSA and a tag next to each other.
Yeah.
She said tag.
Yeah.
And it was fast.
That is why, and now, guys, I'm also going to preface this by saying I am affiliated with tag, but that is why I started. That is why I started this by saying, as a vendor, which grading company do I like more? But personally, I enjoy tag more. That's that. I'm not going to say anymore. I'm not going to stay on the topic of tag. Number two, personal, PSA. Really enjoyed PSA slabs just because that is, to me, like that bit of history. They've been around the longest, and I see a lot of these old baseball cards that are graded by PSA, and I'm like, you know what? Like PSA is kind of that household name in grading. I really enjoy it. Done with PSA. After PSA, ace grading. I like personally, dude, there are some ace slabs that I've got that I'm like, damn, dude, that is clean. Like,
they are pretty cool.
Oh, they are legit, man. As far as resale value,
they're a little too loud for me, though. I'll say that they're a little too loud for me.
They can be. They absolutely can be. But I've got the new Zekrom in an ace 10, and the label is black, and it's Ooh, baby, it looks good.
You just had to rub that in, didn't you?
I know, bro. I had to rub it in.
For any of our listeners, if you have a Beckett Black Label Zekrom, message me.
He's paying $6,000. That's the max.
Message me. Yeah.
I'm not letting you pay any more than that.
I got $6,000 ready, though, for anybody who wants to sell it.
Yeah, six grand for that. But after ace, I'm going to go Beckett, and then last place CGC. I do not like CGC as far as personal collection. Yeah, I mean they're just not as good. But yeah, that's my ranking, buddy. I got no more to say.
Okay, I will fix your ranking now. Okay, so let's
fix it. What the hell?
Yeah, let's fix this, chat.
All right.
No. I would say from a value perspective, right? Scout has a different lens now because he's in the UK. PSA is still number one everywhere. In the US, it would be BGS's too. It would probably be, I don't know, like I'm seeing a rise in tag here, to be honest.
Oh, I believe that.
And so yeah, so I would say 3 is probably tag, 4 is CGC, and then 5 is, I mean, at that point, you do, like I said, you do not see ace here very often. Yeah. Some people don't even know what it is. They think it's like fake off-brand slabs. Like I just saw a TikTok and people were like hating on this UK creator because they had like all these slabs, and they're like, get a real grading company, because they didn't know, right? They're US, so they have no idea what ace is. There's AGS, there's a bunch of different ones that kind of fly into that fifth, right? The big 4 are PSA 1, BGS 2, Tag 3, CGC 4 in the US from a value perspective, from a resale. In the future, I do not think that's going to be the case. Now, I want to preface this. I'm not affiliated with any grading company yet, but what I'll say there is every single grading company has had scandal. Yep. There is not a single grading company that, and there will be more. There will be more.
Yep.
But there have been bigger scandals and smaller scandals.
Mm-hmm.
CGC had by far the biggest scandal, by far, of any of them.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that really hurt them. And they tried to do a rebrand, so they're still trying to climb back from that. Tag has had less, but they're newer.
Mm-hmm.
They've had a few scandals like the slabs breaking, which they've already addressed. I think Tab, personally, from like a community support perspective, they address the community the fastest and the most genuine to me.
Oh, yeah.
But they've had a few too, right? Like they had the base set 2 Charizard that went super viral because it got freaking, chewed up on the corner.
Destroyed.
It got destroyed, and that should never have happened, right? But it happens. Mistakes happen, and they made her whole and then some. They got a replacement card.
Yep.
They gave her the value of the card as well, so she doubled her money. Right? It doesn't replace the nostalgia, but that's a pretty sweet thing to do.
Yes.
And by the way, every single one of these 4 is going to try and sweep stuff under the rug. Every company on the planet will try and sweep things under the rug. Stop using that as an excuse. You get food poisoning from Chipotle, they're going to sweep it under the rug, okay? Every company is going to sweep it under the rug. That's why you use your voice. Stop talking like that. It's like, it's such a dirty company because they duh. Every single company is going to try to sweep something under the rug. Stop talking that way. You're not special. I'm sorry. You're just like, it's not. You got to make yourself heard. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, PSA, to your point, I think they're going to ride this wave. They're always going to be a major player.
Yes.
They haven't had any major... They've done a pretty good job of keeping their reputation clean, right? Like, you and I just released that video about the eBay stuff, but none of it's proven. I want to be very clear.
Yes.
We have no numbers to say that PSA is colluding and bumping up grades and blah, 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 blah. But in the future, I do think Tag is the premium grading service. I think they handle it the best. I love their technology and their dig report. So, I think that they're going to be the top of the market.
I
okay?
agree.
I think then is probably PSA.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Beckett will always be around. They have the black label. Personally, I don't know. Beckett, like, you got to get rid of the decimal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, I don't know. There's something about how they do the decimals. It looks different than Tag's 9.5. You know what I'm saying? Do you like when you look at a Beckett 9.5, do you like that?
Honestly, I kind of do.
Really? Okay. Maybe that's personal preferencing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so from a preference perspective for me, I'm going to be very similar to Scout. Tag number 1.
Yep.
I'm going to put Beckett. Probably, the funny part is I own way more PSA slabs than Beckett slabs.
Yeah.
But I love black labels. I don't know what it is about the black label, but the black label, like if I could split it up, it'd be Tag, BGS black label, PSA, and then regular BGS. Like that's how I would do that.
I think we can class
and
the
then
black label in a different class of its own.
It is that important, guys. And then I would go probably Ace and then CGC. I don't know what it is about CGC. It's honestly, it's the font for me. It's very bubbly. Yeah. It's like this big bubble font, like I don't know, like, and I don't love the light blue coloring. I don't know, like their design just doesn't do it for me. Doesn't do it for me. It's like sort of PSA-y, but it doesn't have the nostalgia to it. So that would be my list.
I think it's a good list, dude. I do. And guys, if you hate our list, you hate our list. There's nothing we can do about it.
You're dumb.
Oh, wow. Wasn't going to say that, right? But it is our personal preference, and you guys will have your own personal preferences, okay? And you might think that we're the dumbest people on the planet for having the preferences that we do. You guys just need to understand, you need to do your research, and you need to get multiple slabs. You guys can check, and I'm not going to tell you to check in my closet.
Yeah, go buy every slab. Go buy every type. That's a great, because you don't know until you know, honestly.
No, I'm not saying go buy a BGS black label card.
I am.
Of any. Okay, never mind. Fuck it.
No, okay. Go look at one.
Yeah, go look at one. Hold one.
Because there are people that their whole collection is black label. Gengar collects. Shout out Gengar collects, because he does only black labels, and it's so sick.
Actually, this does bring me to another question for you, buddy, since we were talking about scams and graded cards. One thing that a lot of people have asked lately is, when should they get their cards graded, and how to identify whether a card is worth getting graded or not? And I'm curious to know your thoughts.
If you have an iPhone, I hate you and I love you at the same time, because there's a new app out, and it's called AI Grading Tool. And God, I wish it would come out on Android, because it seems to be pretty dang accurate. It's been tested by a couple content creators. Shout out Kai Rips on TikTok. And you scan the card, and it'll give you a preliminary grade. And it's pretty close. It's pretty close. Usually within a half a grade. Because grading is subjective. Yeah. So, and he's just been using his phone. You get a phone on, blah, blah, blah. So you could do that. There is nothing on Android yet. If you pull up something on Android, I promise you, I've tested them all. They suck. So, for your Android users, there is...
It sounds like Tag on an iPhone. That sounds like what you're describing to me. Is it?
A little bit. It's not quite like Tag because it doesn't have like the same resolution. Like, I mean, Tag scans go through an actual scanning machine, to be clear.
Yeah.
It's using the phone hardware to take a look at it's best for centering, right?
Oh, that makes sense.
Phones can do a very good job of doing angles, right?
Yeah.
So all it's got to do is, as long as you have it at a certain distance, it can take the angles of the corners and blah, 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 blah. So I would say use it for centering and that kind of stuff. Surface defects, you're going to have to look, right? It could pick it up pretty good, but you should also look. And frankly, you should wipe your cards off before you send them in, to be honest. But we could do a separate video on how to submit. So for our Android users, use a centering tool. Scout, do you have one handy? I have one somewhere. I don't know where it is.
I don't have one on me right now. And if I looked for one, it would take too long. Oh, do you have one? Do you have a centering tool? Oh,
I have my little centering. So I have my submission kit, which is a Celebrations UPC.
I love it.
It's perfect because it has... So here's a lot of the stuff that I use. So I always use a microfiber cloth. And like I said, we'll do a separate post on that.
Yeah.
But here is a centering tool.
Yeah,
and that's it. You just we'll do a separate post on that, but use a centering tool.
Yeah, and guys, we'll take that, and I'm certain I can find the Amazon link that I used to buy mine.
They're not expensive.
Yeah, no, but they are super worth it, especially if you don't have an iPhone. Now that I know, I'm gonna have to try this AI centering tool.
I know. I haven't told you yet because I don't want you to use it because then I'll get jealous.
Dude, what the heck, man? You're sabotaging me?
Yes. Oh my God. Scam likely.
Scam. Oh my God, the theme of this entire video. What?
Should I? No, I'm not gonna answer.
Oh my God, what just happened? What just happened?
The scammers are like, do not out us to the community.
Yeah,
they're calling me. They're like, no.
We know that you're recording. We know where you are.
But anyway, so that's how you know. When to submit a card is a completely different question. Yep. It's a very open-ended question.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, are you trying to sell it or you want to keep it? Because if you're trying to keep it, you should wait until you have a bunch of cards and do a bulk submission. And you should do it when they're running a sale, aka when the market isn't peaking. Right now is a horrible time to get your cards graded. Yeah. And there is a huge backlog. Everybody's trying to sell graded cards. Everybody wants to be the next Trader John's, turning 10 bands into $100,000, right? Like everybody wants to have like $1 million. No, right now is a bad time. I'll say it straight up. Right now is a bad time. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're trying to get it resold, you got to do it within the first 2 weeks. Get it in there, get it out there. You're going to get a premium for it or hold on to it for 4 years. That's how you're going to make the most money.
Wholeheartedly agree. That is one of the hardest questions ever to answer, is based on when you want to sell your card. The hobby will be hype for any set for like the first 2 months after.
2 months. Yeah. 2 to 3 months.
But I would say if you are looking at buying your card, okay, like let's say you don't have it, let's say you didn't pull it, but you want to buy it and you want to get it graded. Let's start with buying first. You have to wait a minimum of 3 months after the set comes out.
Yep. Yeah, you're going to see a correlation here.
Yeah. Well, the reason I say that is because of the prime example, the Butachu from Surging Sparks, the $600 Pikachu that crashed all the way down to $250 or something. Don't quote me on that. I gotta double check.
It went down a third. It's crazy.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it plummeted, guys. Absolutely plummeted. So you need to be wary of that as well, right? Don't chase the hype. Like even the only card that I will say that I'm like debating on pulling the trigger on right now is the Team Rocket's Mewtwo, and right? Greninja. Like Destin. Well, Greninja's been out for a while. I'm talking about sets that haven't been out for the 3-month period yet. Because the Team Rocket's Mewtwo, as you look at Mewtwo cards that we've had in the past, this is a really good Mewtwo card.
I don't think it's going down.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think this is going to be a Butachu. I think this is going to be a consistent sold card at, $1,000 in a PSA 10 all day. If it does go down, I say it doesn't break below $850.
There's a reason, though, with the Butachu as well, I would say, because Pikachu is the most printed Pokemon in the history of the franchise.
Yeah.
So this is not uncommon to see this happen with Pikachu. The same thing happened with Vivid Voltage and the Chunkachu.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
So I would say just be wary of Pikachu in general, because you don't like the Pikachu collectors. There are Pikachu collectors, and they're the ones that are driving the price up. because they want it. They want it now. It's all they collect. So they're going to go out and get it. But everybody else are not that big of Pikachu fans. They're not going to drop hundreds of dollars for a Pikachu card. And so they always tend to come down. Pikachu is one of those Pokemon, I would say. It's just it's a Pokemon related pattern that I've seen. Yep. Mewtwo, which you were just talking about, Mew, Charizard, they all tend to climb because everybody loves those Pokemon. So I would say, yeah, like, I mean, I'll say this. I haven't posted about this yet, but, you know, Arcanine is another one. You got to look at what cards are available to said Pokemon and then how popular the Pokemon is.
Yep.
So, you know, I mean, I'll show it here because I haven't posted about it yet. So anybody who's watching the podcast gets to see this firsthand. I went out and I grabbed this.
Oh, that's still the best pickup you have made in a while.
You know, it's a Chinese exclusive from Fearless Terrestrial, and it's one of the best Arcanine cards out there.
Yeah.
So I would say, you know, sometimes, to Scout's point, you do have to pull the trigger, depending on the Pokemon that is being printed and how it compares to the rest of the cards. That's how I would go about grading your cards, figuring out when you buy them versus when you get them graded. And again, popularity drives how often you're going to get scammed, who you should grade with, because certain cards are going to be more valuable. We were just talking about it. That Zekrom in a Black Label is going to go so crazy. The Zekrom in a 10 and a PSA will still be nice, but it's not going to be anywhere near that Black Label because they just look good together. So I don't know. I think hopefully this helps you guys, right? We've tried to outline, put your comments and questions down below. If you have targeted questions, we'll do our best to answer them. We're both very responsive. Whether we're responding on the Critical Hits account or we both have our personals as well, we kind of just use them interchangeably. But hopefully this helped.
Yeah, guys, I really hope it did. And Genelac, thank you very much for your words of wisdom, my friend.
You too, my friend. You too.
Well, thank you very much.
You're a gentleman and a scholar.
And same to you, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, this was episode 12 of Critical Hits. My name is Pokey Scout.
My name is Gentelac Gaming with a J.
And this
has been Critical
Hits. You guys have a very, very lovely evening.